So this is week 22 of my WGU accounting degree journey, and it's also the last week. So this past week, I finished my last two classes. And so those were D215 Auditing and then D080 Managing in a Global Business Environment. So I'll just go over my thoughts for both of those like I usually do, and then just like a little bit at the end, kind of how it feels to be done. So for auditing, I took that one first. So when my mentor opened up the 2 classes, auditing was actually positioned as the last class, but I just wanted to do it first. And I'm glad I did because that class had a lot more than expected. I actually, my last update talked about how I started this class, but I didn't finish because I wanted to take some extra time to read it and then take the test. So this past week, I had finished reading. I reviewed for the test. There was a lot of practice questions, and so I did all of those. And by Tuesday, I had felt pretty ready. Because my last update was on a Monday. So the next day, I felt pretty ready to take the test. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like schedule it and do it on Wednesday instead of waiting for Monday like I usually do. And yeah, so I took the test Wednesday. It felt like half of it was really similar to the practice, like the practice exam, the practice questions I did, like the extra questions. And then the other half felt like it was different kinds of questions. They were more focused on how to apply auditing concepts. Um, and so you really had to think more about it. And I would say I did well, not I would say. I did a lot better on the final exam than I did on the practice. So all that studying and all the practice problems really did pay off. I already mentioned this, but I'm glad I did not do this class last because A, it it took more time, and then B, the next class, the global business environment was a lot harder to get through, not because it was hard, but because of the way the textbook wording was. So, let me talk about that one. So, this textbook was I would say it was the one of the worst ones. It was boring, really repetitive. I just had a hard time reading it. So, when I opened up this class and went to the textbook, I would try to read the textbook, and then I switched to watching the videos because the Reddit post about this course said some people just watched the videos and then took the test. And I see why they did that. So I tried watching the videos and then went back to the textbook. I feel like the first day or so, or the first afternoon or 2, I spent just trying to figure out how to, like, even study for this course. So what I finally decided on was I'll watch the videos, then I'll read that part of the textbook. Um, and so that seemed to work. That's what I did, and I also used a study guide. So I watched the video, then went to the textbook, found the answers to the study guide, and that helped because, I feel like the video gave me more context for what the textbook was trying to say or what I should pay attention to. And most of the videos are pretty short, like about 10 minutes. I think there were a few that were, like, longer, more like 20 minutes, but not too long. I watched most of them on, like, 1.5 to 2x speed just to get through them. Really, it was just to hear the points so that the textbook made more sense. I would say a lot of the content was familiar. It wasn't really hard. It was just the wording was very, like I said, really repetitive, like a really bad ChatGPT job of trying to write a textbook without any editing. But a lot of the concepts were familiar. Some of them were from like organizational behavior and those other similar courses earlier in the degree. And then some of them I would say was, but there were some pretty interesting concepts like what to consider when you're entering an international market, effects on the supply chain. So just a lot of good context for global business. And the for the test, I would say the final test was not similar to the practice. Like maybe 25% of the version I got was like similar to the practice, but like I feel like the first 75% of the test, I was just hoping I was choosing the right question. I would say it was more critical thinking, but with weird question wording. So half of it was just hoping you understood what they were trying to ask and you identify the question they wanted you to answer. So I always use my whiteboard on tests and write down like 1, 2, 3, 4. That way I can cross off the obvious wrong answers, and I definitely use that for this exam just to make sure I was eliminating as much as possible so I could focus on finding the right answer. I felt like I barely passed, but I got exemplary, so I did better than I expected. Okay, so those are those 2 courses. Um, Actually pretty interesting. Auditing again, I really like that because I feel like it gave me more context for a lot of the accounting people I work with because I didn't take a traditional accounting route. And so sometimes when I'm talking with accounting people who did like go to like regular got a degree at a regular college for accounting and went to work in accounting, like public accounting or feel like they see things a little different. And so all that auditing course helped me see where they're coming from. It almost felt like psychology for accountants or something. Or psychology for understanding accountants. So those are the 2 classes done. I finished those. Oh, the global course, I had started that last Thursday-ish and finished on, Monday. No. Yeah, I took the test Monday. Today's Tuesday because I need a little bit extra time to get this video done just because I finished, but then, like, stuff came up with work, so it's kind of been a weird week. But yeah, like I let my mentor know I was done. And I think I want to do another video about like what happens after you finish, like what then, like graduation, how that works. So I'll keep doing some updates for that. But otherwise, yeah, I'm done. And I'm just waiting for that to sink in. I feel like I usually need like a what's that called? Like a buffering, waiting for things to catch up. Like, I feel I'm excited I'm done, but it's gonna take a little bit for that to, like, actually, uh, again, catch up. It's like old school dial-up internet. Like, you just gotta wait for it. But, yeah, so thanks for following along this journey. I hope you have any questions, and yeah, and please subscribe.